Allow me to set the tone. In order to take accountability for what has passed and what will be, there's no time like presently. So, for all of those with mouths and ears, can we have a moment of your time? We want to gain some perspective. Can we have a piece of your mind? All right. What's going on,
Hey,
beautiful people? Hector, Brian.
what up?
What's going on, man? Another lovely week, man. We're still here.
Absolutely.
Still
Yeah,
here. We're
yeah.
growing, man.
Yo, I love that. Like our intro, bro. There's no time like presently, right? So like, we show up and we're not just showing up here, we're showing up where we are, wherever that may be, man. I know that's my life right now. Like wherever I'm at, I'm there.
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally, physically, all of it. I'm there. And that shit accounts for a lot of why I feel good, man, because I'm not so spaced. I'm not so detached. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool. I like the saying, man. I want people to really just take that message in, man, because it's cool. Our
No
intro
time
is
like
pretty dope.
presently. Now, you know what, bro? I think you know what. You know how you said you emphasized on how you're there, like you're paying attention, you're in tune.
Mm.
Like I really think that's like the biggest part. That's the biggest part of like being in the now. Like when they tell you to be in the now, it's not like it's paying attention to what's going on right now. Like noticing the beauty in the area. You know, engaging the person in front of you and having a heartfelt conversation or just a fun conversation, a funny conversation, sharing a laugh. That's building
Right.
relations with people, somebody. You know what I mean? When you can pay them attention, when you're not out on a date and looking in your phone and stuff like that. You know?
No, sir.
Yeah. So yeah,
Nah,
man, I like it too. Heck.
yeah, it was poetry, man. It's poetry is what it is, bro.
What's going on, Brian down there with the straight face, man? They used to call Brian the face back in his what do you call it, the fraternity days.
Yeah. When I was pledging, I was in the front of the line, so I was the face of the line. Had to
Yeah.
keep it straight and
Okay.
serious.
Hector, you remember Brian? You remember Brian growing up, Brian?
Oh yeah.
Brian keeping a straight face. Can you imagine that, yo? Mr. Smile down there, yo,
Yo,
always smiling.
smiles, yeah, man. Always had to smile, bro.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it was crazy. I didn't go to college. I finished school before him. I didn't go to college, so he experienced. He went and experienced college, and it's like, although me and Brian weren't, well, I mean, I guess since high school we weren't in the same like atmosphere, but Brian kind of went his own way in college, and then like I don't like when Brian was joining that thing, I ain't see him for months sometimes, and then he'll come home and it's like he I don't know, he changed somehow a little bit, like what I mean. Then I started to see him actually like losing weight and stuff like that, like what I mean, and then I started hearing about him being out with people more and, communicating more and blossoming and stuff like that. So, you know what? I don't regret not going to college, but like, I understand now that like, even if I was to say back then, when I was thinking college, all I thought was school and work and stuff like that. But it's more to college. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is for anybody thinking about going to college or whatever. It's more to college than just the whatever you're going for, because communicating with people, building with people, finding a path, like all of that is possible in the college too, man. My brother was a good example of that, man. I got to kind of see it a little bit. You know what I mean? I got to see his life story and things unfold a little bit, man, from my own point of view, my own perspective, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say
one of the terms. Go ahead, big. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I would say the social aspect of going to university was one of the things that I found probably the most rewarding. I wouldn't say it's
Yep.
worth all the money that
No.
school costs, but but yeah, it was definitely like it definitely made the experience a lot more worthwhile. The first like year or two, like I was commuting to school, so a lot of times I would just, once I'm done with my classes, come straight home. But it was after I met like a few of my friends that I started like joining a couple of different clubs and like actually getting involved with like the student life over there, and it definitely changed my perspective on things. It made me more willing to meet new people and start communicating more, and just like, being more active in that college community, and just like, uh, the community at large. So that definitely was a good experience for me, just taking that step, even though like you know, I wasn't like doing room and board there. The fact that I was able to go out there and like still kind of experience that life, especially after I started pledging, because like I was at home for like a good 2 months. I had to live with those guys, so
Yeah.
that definitely changed the experience for me too. And just seeing how like the other students, how they had to get by off of like their meal cards and stuff like that. It sort of gives you a different idea of how life will be, after you graduate. And then the school that I went to, there were a lot of students that came from like international abroad. So we had students from like all different walks of life, from different continents. We had like Asian students from Europe. Some of them came on like soccer scholarships. Some people came to join like the industrial design program, or like the science I forget the name, but was it like the engineering program, things like that. So I
Yeah.
did get to meet like a lot of different people that that were from different cultures. So that was definitely something, that I appreciated out of that experience too.
So
Yeah.
when you went, I'm sorry, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I was gonna add and piggyback off that because my experience going to school was very similar, having all the different walks of life. Um, and the umbrella that's called is networking. You meet different people from different places with different postures and different understandings, and so you start to cultivate a lot of that into your own character, and you make some connections. Like going to school, I went to school for design and illustration, but I know a photographer, so if I ever need a photographer, I can hit her up. I know a painter, so if I ever needed a mural or something on a large canvas, I can hit her up. I know a guy who does specifically, 3D animation. I can talk to him. Like, so I have a lot of different avenues to, kind of help. If I were to ever chase or pursue something, like personally or even professionally, I have people that I have met through that experience of, that social aspect that school does offer. And, I can turn something into a collaboration, because that's something we also talked about, Frank. The idea of collaborating is a big thing, man. And
Or
finding
that's
purpose
in the
and
works,
finding.
man. We getting deeper on that, man. We got Brian
Yep.
collaborating as an accountability
Yep.
partner now. We got
Yep.
other things in the work behind the scenes too, man. You're absolutely right. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, so just again, to piggyback off Brian, that was my experience. That was my takeaway, from college. And I have friends who are approaching the age of 60, you know what I'm saying? And then I have friends who are still in their mid to low 20s. And it's cool because, like, it's college allows you the diversity of having friendships like that, is where, you just go to work, you have work relationships that may or may not pick up, and then you go home. You know what I'm saying? Or your neighborhood best friends you grew up with that are across the country now, kind of shit. Like, so having a college experience, opened that up for me too. And that was probably my most favorite takeaway too, was the social aspect that it did give me.
Yeah.
It's enriching, man. It's enriching to have, different perspective from totally different people. But, you talked about that too, Frank, finding your tribe, finding your flock.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you find someone that's in your degree, in your program, well, shit, that's a buddy right there for life if you cultivate it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of cool to have that experience. It's not worth what it's worth, though. The price of college, we talked about that shit on our last. We'll go into that just a little bit more, but yeah, it's crazy, man. There's some give and some take for real. So
Yeah. I was just about to touch on that, man. You know what? I admire anybody who went to college and like knew from young that's what they wanted to do. That's where they wanted to go, because like I could imagine. I could only imagine being somebody who went to college because society said, "Yo, this is the way I'm supposed to go." You know what I'm saying? Even though because when we're young, we really don't know what we want to do. You know what I mean? We listen to our the people around us because we know they have the best intention for us, so they're probably telling us, a path that they think believe is going to work. But who's to say our destiny is there? So for anybody who knew they was going to college, like, you know what I mean? I would imagine that going to college, like, for me, again, that it sound just the thought of it sound like dread. It sound like homework. It sound like, you know what I mean? Just a bunch of more of the same rigmarole I got in high school. But if I was thinking about it from a I want to go perspective, then I would be more excited when I'm there. I'll be excited to meet new people. You know what I mean? I'll be making better connections with people in a space that I pick for myself to go to. You get what I'm saying? I'm here because I wanted to be here. You get what I'm saying? So I could only imagine that, like, that, having that feeling, like having that, like, I wanted to be here. Why are you here? Oh, because I wanted to be here. Why are you here? I don't know. I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't know where else to go. You know what I'm saying? So I imagine that's a great way to find your flock, man. Is going to college, man, because there's gonna be a lot of like-minded people there, like you, from all different walks of life, chasing all different dreams. You know what I'm saying? And you network with them.
I'm gonna throw a random ass fact because why not? It's fun. But I learned something last week, and after our conversation about the school and student loan debt and all that, I learned something. And out here in Colorado, we have a radio station called Colorado Public Radio. It's CPR or NPR, and they have conversations about all sorts of shit. And to my surprise, student loan debt came up on one of the conversations. I was like, oh shit, like I'm gonna tune in, and I only get like 10 minutes before I get to work or whatnot. So, I only got a little bit of it, but I can look up the information for the full article if I need it. But I learned that here in America, which, for student loan debt, Black women own 43% of the debt. It's alone, just Black women. Like that's, to me, that's crazy. Like that.
That is
But
pretty
it's
wild.
cool in the same way. It's crazy, but it's cool because that tells you that Black women really give a shit about their education. They push that higher education. To me, that is incredibly cool. But then it's like, damn, knowing that most of our student loan is, where we are with that, again, the conversation about hitting the reset. I'm not going to go down that alley too deep, but you guys can kind of scratch the surface and wonder why some people may be against the idea of resetting. So anyway, moving on away from that a little bit. I got some feedback from some of our viewers, which big shout out to y'all. Love y'all for engaging in the conversation in your own ways. And we really hope to have more of that. This is Piece of Your Mind. Not just Frank, Brian, and I. Piece of your mind. You guys out there too. We want you to be comfortable having these conversations, whether they're heavy conversations, whether they're light, doesn't matter. Be a part of it. We appreciate it. We love it. We need it. So a couple of our viewers had a very similar scope, if you will, and they're kind of pissed off with the politicians. Irritated beyond all hell because you vote for these people. They are public servants. They're supposed to work for us, not for us, for them. And yet they go into office with a lot of selfish motive, a lot of greed, and just really not giving a damn about the people. So I will take this moment just to say, anybody out there at the age of you're able to vote, take it serious. Go vote. We live in America, corporate America. We play their game, and the only way to play the game to our benefit is to get out there and make sure we do vote. Vote for people that will take policies that matter to you to the next level, to the top, to the executive side of it all, and make some change. And that is not just your taxes. That's also your education. That's also housing and availability for housing. And there's so much more that comes into it when you vote. So do that. Don't let the corrupt ones, take over the whole country kind of shit. And again, that was a message from a couple of our viewers that, it's important to get out there and do that. So there y'all go.
Yeah. You know what, heck, man? Word again. Shout outs to everybody who gives us feedback, man. We're learning. You know what I mean? We're learning what's engaging to you guys. You know what I mean? How to carry on the conversation. So I appreciate you guys too, man. And you guys are giving me fuel, man. You guys are giving me fuel, man. It makes me happy, man. It makes me want to go some more. But anyway, let's switch back to that conversation. Let's switch back to the topic from last week, man, because you said something else that captivated me. Like, somebody who raised their perspective. Somebody's perspective has been risen on the topic of loosen the letting go of the student loans or getting people paying off student loans, right? Which is really they're not paying off nothing. They just hitting the button and they're going to zero. Everybody give you no money to pay off no loan. But so I always can picture this in any debate. Like people are getting food stamps, somebody's upset about that. People are getting this kind of assistance, somebody's upset about that. So I can only imagine naturally somebody would be upset about other people getting off on student loans. I mean, and for good reason, right? But when you're like, that feeling will come about like first because we're creatures within ourselves. You get what I'm saying? So we're gonna think about ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna think like, well, I had to do this. Like, but that ain't right. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that like, the person you was telling me about was able to open up their perspective on it, because it's like they didn't think at first. They was thinking in that one direction, but then they thought of it from another perspective. Like, well, wait a minute. Well, I know somebody who has student loans, and I work with them, right? Right. So if his student loans was eradicated, would he be a happier worker? You know what I'm saying? Would he be as stressed when he come to work? You know what I'm saying? Would he? You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's not a direct, like, loosening it wouldn't be maybe not a direct benefit to you, but maybe it could be a roundabout benefit to you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
I wonder how many other ways that could be a roundabout situation for somebody else. Like, so like boss employee, I understand. Like, but and what other ways? There got to be like some other scenarios. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree, bro. That's just one aspect of it, but yeah, thinking about it in a roundabout way, that's the thing. I guess that's a very American thing, is that we're also concerned with how it affects us directly, and so we don't necessarily take the time to focus on, what's going on over here or over here. Nah, that's not in front of me. Out of sight, out of mind, right? We do that shit a lot. But yeah, if in a roundabout way, I agree. Could that person be a happier employee? Could they come to work and give another 30% of themselves to benefit the business? Could they do more outreach? Could they do, yeah, anyway, yeah, like, just kind of going on what you said, there's got to be other ways in which that has a benefit in a manner that's not so available to your site. Like, and I'm curious about it. So if I don't know if you have anything, if you've got an example, or if any of our viewers have an example of that, that would be cool to hear. Because yeah, just because it doesn't directly affect you doesn't mean it's not affecting you in some way later on or somewhere else. So that's a fun one to play with, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people they have like a distrust of how some of these systems work. They feel as if, oh, I'm paying all these taxes, I'm doing this, oh, I paid off my debt, or I'm paying off my debt, I'm in the process of paying off my debt, and in their minds they're thinking, oh, such and such, some of these people are just lazy, they're not even attempting to pay their debts, they're just kind of waiting for something like this to happen. So it's stuff like that that feeds into their ego as well. or like, people who do receive like certain benefits, like food stamps or WIC benefits, things like that. There's a perception of them that they're not making an attempt to help themselves, or they're not trying to better their situation, and that comes from like a lack of understanding, and just
Yes, it
like the
does.
sense of community not really being there the way it used to be.
Yep.
So that's my perspective on it. A lot of it comes from just people feel like they're they don't want people to continue benefiting without having to work towards something, or not trying to put forth an earnest effort to help themselves out of the situation, not realizing that they may be in this situation not of their own doing necessarily, or not that they're not trying to better their situation, but when you have like new taxes being introduced for no reason, and you have these debts that are just piling up. You got to keep the lights on. You got to keep heat in your home. And, there's a lot of things piling up. The minimum wage is like $15, but it doesn't really, that doesn't help. It
Yeah,
doesn't help.
you know
They,
what, B? When your world is small, right? And
Mhm.
this is not a stab at anybody, but when your world is small, for going back to an example when we were kids, right? We knew Bridgeport. You know what I'm saying? We knew Bridgeport, and we grew up with a lot of people that only known Bridgeport. You know what I mean? So everything that's happened in Bridgeport is the world to them. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But then when you had an opportunity to open up your perspective, right? And like for us, we got to go see the islands when we were young. You know what I mean? We got to go visit that. Bro, we had to fly on some airplanes. We had to take a stop in Puerto Rico. Like, you know what I mean? Before we touched down, like we had to do a lot of things before we even got to where we was going. You know what I mean? And the visit, 7 years old, 8 years old, however old we was, bro, that opened up my mind. It made me see the world is much bigger. And when you kind of get a chance to step away from the world the only world you thought you knew, you start to realize like, yo, these problems are problems, but they're not like everything. You know what I mean? There's people going through worse elsewhere. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. Anyway, I get what you're saying though, B. For real, I agree with you wholeheartedly, bro. We
yeah,
we
yeah.
know we
It's
know
just
what we know. And so so for some people who haven't gotten the opportunity to get their mind to expand for whatever reason, you know what I mean? We were blessed because we happen to have a father who came from the islands. You get what I'm saying? But the story could have been a whole different. You know what I mean? And I could have been viewing the world in a place like you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Just kind of stuck in that loop and not understanding, like, I want to get out of here. I want to do better. But this is all I know. This is what I see my parents do. This is what the people around me do. Like, we didn't come from a place where uh, uh finance was already sustained when I got here. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't have so yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from with that though. I can understand it. Like, and I can understand why somebody who hasn't, felt that struggle wouldn't understand that struggle at all to want to say, like, yo, yeah, give them a break, man. We all deserve a break every now and then. Give them a freaking break, you know?
yeah. Some people just lack empathy. They don't know how to empathize. They haven't been in that situation, so it's so foreign to them. Like, their their thought on it is like, oh, why can't they just work through it? Like, oh, it
Yeah,
can't be that difficult. But they don't know. They don't know what it's like for the freaking electric company to call their mom, hounding them. Oh, we're about to shut off your electricity, and then they gotta go
yo,
scramble to.
yo, Brian, let me tell you something. Be interesting perspective on that thought there. So people who are born in or raised up or they're used to being in a like middle class, high class, right? A lot, I used to listen to Dave Ramsey, bro, and I used to be in awe, like with when these people start talking about their debts. Oh, I'm $100,000, $200,000 in debt, or matter of fact, it'd be bigger than that, right? But then they'd be like, yeah, I make $300,000 a year. I'm like, wait, what? like, wait, like, what? You struggling and you making $300,000 a year? You get what I'm saying, bro? Like, even those people are stuck in their own little bubble, B, and they running around the same hamster wheel, B. Like, they don't understand why. Like, just like you're lost and we don't understand how to get ourselves out of debt or student loans and stuff like that. Yo, they deal with the same problems. They just, you know, you drive a Honda, they drive a Tesla. You know what I mean? Or,
Right.
that's a few biggest difference. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they feel, that's the thing. You talked about empathy, but it's like, they understand feelings because they go through their own struggle too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
And
just on a different.
it's only but so many ways you could translate stress. There's only but so many ways you could translate happiness. There's only but so many ways you could translate anger. You know what I mean? So feelings are universal. You know what I mean? Maybe me and an Asian person can't speak the same language, but we're capable of feeling when we see. You know what I mean? If we see something ain't right, you know what I mean, or experience something. I don't know. I think people just like being lost in the sauce, bro. That's what I think.
I want to add to that though. I'm gonna play the other side of that, Frank, because I agree. Like, you hear it in Biggie's, more money, more problems, right? But my argument with that is, like, you just said it, like a Tesla. Like, in my mind, as soon as you were talking about cars, I'm like, oh yeah, we're driving a Honda, they're driving Bentleys or something, right? But what's the downgrade from a Honda? Probably getting on a bike or a bus, public transportation, right? What's the downgrade from a Bentley? The Honda, right? What's a downgrade from being in an apartment? Living on the street. What's the downgrade from being up in a mansion? Right? So while the problems do exist, the option and the ability to downgrade exists for them, where for millions of Americans it actually doesn't. Because the downgrade is being on the fucking street. You know, and then if you got kids, you can't. So while the problems exist, the cost is not the same, unfortunately, and that's my perspective of it. Because if I was living in a $5 million fucking mansion, well, I mean, do I really need it? Probably not, man. Probably not. All I need is a 3-bedroom, one for me and my lady, one for my son, one for my daughter. I don't need nothing more than that. But then you got people that want bigger, better, more comfortable, more lavish, more this, more that. So you start getting into that mindset that this is what you need because it's what you're used to. When if you've never been down here with most of us, you don't know what it's like, because you're not in jeopardy of losing everything. I got to all right, you know what? Maybe I won't go to that fucking gym class that costs me $400 a month for Taibo, this or whatever. We don't have that choice because we already ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? So the problems exist. I agree with you there. They have their own set of problems, but the cost of which they can lose is not the same. And that's kind of where a lot of the difference is. And again, early on, Frank, we talked about sympathy and we talked about empathy. So you can sympathize. I can sympathize with them in their problems, but I don't know that they can empathize because of the different style of life they have. Like, if I don't pay my bills, I'm gonna freeze my ass off, and I've got kids, So like, there's a bit of a difference there, man. But not to discredit what they've got. No, that's real. It's very real. So it's crazy because we're all living on the same fucking plane of existence, man. But the worlds we're in are way fucking different, dude. It's wild to me.
Yeah, that kind of makes me that makes me think of this. I went on a mansion tour one time in Rhode Island. It was the Breakers mansion. So like that's the mansion that Vanderbilt had made. Like, he was one of the richest men in the country, at the time, and that was like his summer home. And that place was huge. There's so many rooms. Like, it's amazing. But over a few generations, his family wasn't able to hold on to it. They were throwing all these lavish parties and like, they were hosting like, celebrities and politicians and things like that. And, they were more or less like squandering the money, because they didn't have the same type of work ethic that he had. You know, he built it. His son was able to maintain, but you know, after like his son's sons passed, you know, a couple generations down, they just grew up. They were already affluent. They didn't have to work. They didn't know what it meant to work. And, you know, that entire house, you know, they ended up having to sell it to, you know, the historical society because they weren't going to be able to maintain it.
Nah. Yeah.
So, like, you know, if they had it in their minds to maybe downsize or, you know, cut down on the party and, you know, actually maintain the family business, they could be generations still in that house.
So the thing is, B, Hector and B, man, I guess the common denominator is that we're all trapped in our minds. You know what I'm saying? In our, like, if we grew up in that place, in our minds, to go any lower than where we are, we might as well kill ourselves, and they have done that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas opposed to like, yo, we could get, yo, I could hit if I hit the lottery, bro, and I lost it all, like, yo, okay, back to 0.0, bro. I've been lower than this before. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
But I mean that is a big fact though, heck, man. I like, yo, if they were capable of thinking like, yo, I could just downgrade, or you know what I mean, till I get my comeback up. But then when you think about what Brian said, like, yo, after a few generations, like this was their floor. This was their floor. You get what I'm saying? My floor was right here. I don't know how the people below this floor, I don't even know how they got there. You know what I'm saying? I was born right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? If I ain't going up, then I'm staying right here. If I go any lower, yo, I'm jumping. That's it. Can't take it no more.
Yeah, that's interesting, bro. That's cool to hear that. Like, yeah, we all got problems, man, and you know, like you were kind of emphasizing, you know, we all have different factors that lead us to stress, and different factors that lead us to happiness, and you know what I'm saying. So like we experience all these different emotions on different spectrums, but that really does start up here in our mind. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, if we're trapped up there, it could be a living hell for some. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I that's cool, y'all. I hear y'all. That was dope. That's perspective. And so y'all, everybody out there, man, yo, again, chip in and enlighten us a little more if you guys something to add to that, because that gave me a whole new train of thought with that, Frank, for real. That was kind of cool. Yeah.
Now, you know what, guys? I actually had a like an aha moment, right? Because you know, I've been living on this like survival based mentality my whole life. Like, gotta get the next check, gotta pay the next bill, gotta, you know, pay the car insurance, you know, rent's due. Like, same shit, different day. Like I've lived that, and that was my focal. That was my, and I started to realize, like, yo, you know what? If you stress it enough, you get everything you desire. If you stress it enough, you get everything you desire. That and stress is not, like, how can I say it? Stress is not. It doesn't work for the good and it doesn't work for the bad. It just works for it. It is what it is, right? So if you want to stress, getting a check week to week, how you gonna pay your rent? You know, maybe possibly getting food stamps. Hey, I heard about people stressing over getting disability. You know what I'm saying? And fighting to get disability. Yo, you don't have, and yo, you only have to do but so much fighting for your limitations. You get what I'm saying? You're gonna get what you want. You want disability, you gunning for it, that's a stress of yours, you're gonna get disability. They're gonna give it to you. But what is it gonna cost? You know what I mean? I've seen people pretending to feel sick or hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You start pretending so much, you become that person.
Yeah, you
know
start
what I mean?
to believe it. Yep.
You start to believe it. You get what I'm saying? That's something stress. That's something stress is capable of doing. Like, you know, stress is capable of getting you what you want. You get what I'm saying? But now, if you think about it from somebody's successful people standpoint, that you've heard about, the ones that came up from nothing, the ones that came from different countries and became millionaires, and shit like that. You know what I mean? What were they stressing? You got to think about that. What were the kind of things they were stressing? Were they stressing about the rent for next week, or like, just like that's the main thing? Like, I got to get this rent, I got to get this food stamps, I got to get this disability, or are they more so stressing the idea that they have in their head and making it something tangible? The idea that they have in their head and providing a service for somebody. The idea that they have in their head and giving a product to somebody. All that shit is stressful too. They found success at some point, but they had to endure some level of stress to get there. You know what I mean?
I'd agree with you, bro. I'd say that stress is it's a volatile fuel source, bro. Like it could benefit you or it could ruin you. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on how active you are with it. Whether you let it go down to dark or to light. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a very volatile source of fuel, man. And some people use it to their benefit. Oh, I gotta pay rent. Well, I know rent it's due, so I'm gonna hustle to get rent. Or, you know what? Fuck, I can't pay rent. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Give up. So that could go either way, bro. Takes a disciplined mind to be able to kind of master stress. Because stress can kill you, bro. That is a killer right there. So
from that story, man, it sounds like stress can build you up too. You know what I'm saying? What are we choosing? What are we choosing to stress, man? You know what I mean? A person that at the end of the day, all they wanted was that man. That man, no matter what he did, no matter what he's doing, cheating or whatever. Like, sometimes those women get the man what they want too. It don't matter. You that's what you want. That's what you got. Yeah, he's a cheater. Yeah, he ain't shit. Like, but this is what you want. This is what you beckon. This is what you're calling. This is what you're telling the universe. This is what you're telling God. This is what you're telling God you want. Mm-hmm. It's on your mind all the time. You know what I mean? You're trying to figure out ways how to keep it around. What we stress, we find solutions for. You get what I'm saying? That's what stress is all about. What we stress, we find solutions for. So the only thing you're stressing is your man, and you're gonna find solutions to keep that man. Like, you're gonna keep working towards it. You know what I'm saying?
Or making excuses.
You know what I'm saying? That's still part of keeping it. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want it so bad, you're gonna make excuses. You know what I'm saying? Same thing,
That's good, bro.
The Wright brothers wanted to fly so bad, bro. They was going up against millionaires, I heard, bro. And the Wright brothers they were like, I don't remember what state they were from, but they was just like some city boys, you know what I mean, or country boys or whatever. And they was going up against some billionaires that wanted to be the first ones to fly. And they went and got all the big headers. And the Wright brothers was able to do it first. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe it's North Carolina.
Is it North Carolina? North Cackalack? Oh, you know what? Their license plates do say first in flight, huh?
Yeah, although I heard it's actually someone in Bridgeport beat them to it by like a year or two.
Where? Bridgeport? Where? Connecticut?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you ever... Yeah, like, I don't know if you ever saw the little statue they got up there on Commerce Drive, by the McDonald's. Sometimes they put a little statue of an airplane that says first in flight.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get a video recording of that, bro. We got to make that. We got to put that on the real, Hector.
Yeah,
so
it's debated.
Everybody North Carolina now. We were the first to fly.
Yeah, it's debated.
So it looks like Indianapolis in Ohio is where the brothers were born, but they flew to Carolina. And I guess they needed someplace with steady winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour in order to do it. So yeah, just to get that out there, just so we're good, so people don't come at us like y'all are dumb.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. Bro, we're gonna get lost in this information. I'm sorry, go on left real quick, bro. We're gonna get lost in this information age anyway, man. I already had them tell me that Sinbad ain't never play a genie or something like that.
The Mandela effect, bro.
And then the Mandela effect, like, I'm like, wait, ain't he dead? Like, he in jail? What? We in the information age. I'm about to go over here and ask chat something. He gonna tell me a fucking lie, and I'm gonna believe it.
Oh man, it'd be like that. But I noticed we're 40 minutes in, man. What were you gonna say, B?
Oh no, I was gonna say there's a few like examples of Mandela effect, like Looney Tunes, Bearstein
Oh yeah,
Bears.
yep, yep.
For real,
It's
man.
a
It's
They
bunch.
mad
about to get
funny.
real crazy, man. Everybody about to be
It's a
believing
bunch of
whatever
them.
they want to believe, man. You know, they
Yeah.
all chat for, okay? Yes, there's aliens.
Yeah.
Yes, there
All right, so
All right, go ahead,
yo,
Heck, man. It
last
sounds like you want to bring us into pushing opinions, bro.
yeah, bro, we're here, we're
That
doing it,
time.
man. It's that time, bro. Because I figured, last week brought about a pretty intelligent and deep conversation, and it was fun. And so I wanted to kind of do it again, yo. If we pull up something light or something heavy, hey, whatever. But I wanted to go ahead and let that conversation kind of start, and then if it spills into the next episode, I'm with it, and just let's get it going. So we got a
Go.
bunch of different topics this time around, man. So when y'all are ready, bro, I'll get it.
I'm ready, man. Let's
All
get
right, spin the wheel.
what kind of
Let's
what
do it.
are our choices?
Oh, we got lots. We got all sorts of stuff. Some from last week. Some new ones like how important is cooking in your home, or when's the last time you played at the playground, kind of thing. Like actually got up on the slide, up on the swings. We got some heavy ones like addiction, the fear of harm as we age. So yeah, we'll see. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna click it and let's just see what the wheel does for us, y'all.
Okay, let's do it, man. It's exciting, man.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna have this well picking from you all the time, man. We gotta have to play rock, paper, scissors one of these times.
Ooh, that's a heavy one. That's a heavy one.
Addiction. You're someone you love.
Okay.
Damn. All right. Addiction. You or someone you love. Time to be vulnerable. Oof. I have been blessed to not have anyone in my immediate family suffer addiction. An addiction could be to pharmaceuticals, it could be to alcohol, it could be to hard drugs. I've been blessed not to have anyone in my family suffer immediately, but I have unfortunately been exposed to it. And that shit will rock your world. That shit is heavy. That's a heavy one. My lady has had people in her family struggle with it. Yeah, man, that is a very scary fucking place to be, man, because addiction comes in lots of different forms, and you don't know you're addicted because, this is the complacent part of the mind accepting it. This is the part of the brain that is stuck in survival mode and thought to, I need this thing.
Yeah, figuring out ways to tell you what's okay and stuff like that.
Yep. Going back to making excuses, making excuses. I need this thing. Yeah, you justify it. Yeah, I'll come back to it. But yo, what about you guys? Where do you guys stand with that, man?
Hey, man, listen, man. You know what, man? Addiction. All right, so I want to just go ahead and say, we are all addicted. Okay, every last person is addicted. We're all addicted to something. There's so many things to be addicted to. Like Hector was just ending off saying, there's so many things to be addicted to. Some of it is hard stuff, and I got some stories there. And then some of it is light stuff, like or we make light of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. We make light of sitting still too long. We make light of playing in our phones or doing meaningless things too long. So we all have addiction. You know what? I used to hear sugar was an addiction, but I didn't take it serious, right? Until I like weaned myself off. Like I've tried I tried a 3-day fast. Matter of fact, I went for like 7 days, and then I tried to, like, when I got back into it, I started off slow. And mind you, I've done fasting plenty of times before, but I used to just go right back to the steak and cheese sandwiches, sugar in my coffee, whatever. But this time I started off slow. Nothing but soups and salads for like the first week and fruits. And then, I kind of like eased my way back into eating, bro. And then I went to go drink some coffee, and I asked for the regular, like 3 sugars, bro. And that junk gave me like a wild, like, zap. Mm-hmm. And I started realizing, like, just how much sugar is in there. And then it wasn't until I went to work one day, and one of my coworkers was just like, "Yo, I need my morning coffee." And I'm like, "What you mean you need your morning coffee? Like, the day just started. Like, I'm energetic in the morning for no reason, so I'm energetic." She's like, "No, I can't start my day. And I think she was saying like she has to have sugar in it. Like I was telling her like I drink coffee, no sugar. She was like, "No, I have to have sugar." I said to her, I was like, "Yo, you sound like a old crackhead right now. Like, what you mean you have to have sugar? Like, but yeah, addiction, man. I don't know. I think big or small. I think it's definitely good to be aware if of your addictions if you have any. Um, just be mindful of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, know that, like, yo, this is like not regular. This is not, something that most people deal with. Like, you know what I mean? I think to be aware of it is good. And I think with addiction, it's definitely important to be around your loved ones. You know what I mean? Because like Hector said, we get into these delusions. We make up these excuses. We justify. And nobody ever tells us it's okay. Same shit, different day. Like, oh, Frankie drunk again. That's always Frankie. Frankie always drunk. It becomes normal. You being drunk becomes normal to people. You know what I'm saying? You being high becomes normal to people. Like you start hanging around with other people that get high and drunk all the time and stuff like that. They're not gonna tell you, yo, bro, like this is looking a little crazy right now. You're looking like you fell asleep underneath the table at the bar or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a loved one, and it may turn into an argument, and may turn into a tough conversation. There are always tough conversations, but the tough conversations are the ones we need to have because the tough conversations are the ones that help people grow. So, like, yo, I say if anybody knows anybody who's dealing with some kind of addiction, you know it, and they could be doing better, and they seem like they're unaware. Like, yo, it may cause a fight. They may not want to talk to you for a week or two or whatever, but like, yo, they need to know. You have to like you have to raise people's awareness first to the fact that there's something wrong, and that's the first step. You know what I mean? They can get angry, they can get upset, they can go, not stop talking to you. But yo, if they truly love you back, you know what I'm saying? Whatever words you said to them, they're gonna remember. It's gonna stick with them. It's gonna start. That's gonna start floating around their head. They might tell themselves 4 or 5 times, like, "Who the fuck Frank think he is, man? Telling me I'm addicted to whatever. Who the fuck you? You know what I mean?" But if they know it came from a place of love, they feel it. You know what I mean? As much as people want to ignore it, they feel it. You know,
Yeah.
they
What
hear when
about you, B?
they hear when a real one talking, yo.
Yeah, and I've experienced friends with addiction. Um, just like being in that college atmosphere, like you see how it changes people. Like a really good friend of mine, he was a few years, he was a couple years behind us. So like I see him his freshman year up until his senior year because we were still hanging out and stuff. And like I saw how his personality changed, like how his behavior changed, and it was pretty alarming. He was like a good kid, and he started hanging out with these other students like that he had class with, and some of them they were into like drinking and like certain drugs and things like that. And one of them he was like really close with. He would hang out with him like almost every day. He's drinking. It's midday. He's like having drinks, and there was a time where he was banned from the campus for a while because of an incident that went on, and we thought that he wasn't going to come back from it. Like we tried like sitting him down, talking to him, telling him, listen, like this is like next level. Like this, like what's going on. This isn't normal. And unfortunately, one of the kids that he used to hang out with ended up passing away from an overdose, and it took that to happen for him to see the error of his ways and to start turning things around. And the kid that passed away, he was a really smart kid. Like, you could ask him anything and he had all this information. And it's just so unfortunate that, he turned to such heavy drug use, in his life. I don't know, what drove him to that, but they were kind of like the relationship that they had is like, they were feeding off of each other. And, unfortunately, it took one of them to pass for the other one to straighten things out.
Yo, that's the thing about mankind that I've come to understand, just throughout history. And there's always some sort of precipice necessary for change, for real change to occur. And I hate that it takes that. So, why do we need to be looking straight down off the edge of a cliff in order to fucking change something? You know what I mean? And that's scary because, I too experienced something very similar, B. In my late teenage years, there was this dude that would always come around, and this real pretty dude, man. Always had the straightest edges, bro, the nastiest fade. Always had the jewelry and the flyest clothes, man. Dude really cared about himself. Like, made himself look real good. So when he came around, he brought that energy, because he was a good dude. Like, and then I remember, he came around one day and he was not him. He was not him. He was there was something else inside his body. And I can't tell you how much that scared the shit out of me because I knew what happened. He smoked something that was laced and he was just done. He was not him anymore. And that was my precipice to, hey, put down if I'm smoking weed, I'm not smoking again. If I'm smoking cigarettes, I'm not smoking again. I'm not doing that. I'm not indulging that. Because, I would see this guy, once a week, once every other week. And then one day he was just ruined forever. And that scared the shit out of me because it's just like, you just don't know, man. You just, you don't really fucking know. And that experience really kind of made me start to hate the idea of, substance usage, whether, oh yeah, I have a bottle of wine, every night, or, oh, hey, yeah, just have a cocktail or two with the buddies, or yeah, I smoke a little weed. Like, to me, all of that shit is not favorable, and it scares me because of that one experience. And, I know a lot of people that drink, that smoke, and, I'm not going to be here and sit and telling you it's not good for you because, it has its benefits, whatever, sure. But like when you're a habitual user, yeah, I speak up and I say something, and to the extent where I know you'll hear me kind of shit, but then, kind of going back to what you were talking about, Frankie, sometimes these people that are addicted, man, love isn't enough. Being around good people isn't enough. They are trapped. And that's normal to them. That's, their world is on fire. So this thing is the only thing that puts out that fire. But in reality, it's causing it to be even more explosive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, man. That's a heavy one, bro. Because like I said, I got to experience it in a lot of different ways in my life growing up. And I have very rarely seen people come back from it. It's not to say it's impossible, but it is fucking hard to come back from the edge. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people skate very fucking closely to that edge. I don't know, man. That's a heavy one. And like I said, I'm in love with a woman that has had family members experience that shit, and it breaks my heart, bro. Like, because what can you do if not watch? What do you like? What can you do? What can you really do? Intervention? How can that work if the other person's not ready to receive? You can't forcibly put someone into a safe space unless you really actually do. You put them in a home for like a rehab or something. You forcibly put them there, kind of shit. But like, it's just scary, man, because you love someone so much, man, that sometimes you enable it, until you can find the courage yourself to check it, to course correct. But then even if you try, how successful will you be? And so then those factors are weighing on your mind. That's a dark one, man. Addiction is very scary, man. My son, I got an email from my son's school today that they're gonna get ready to talk to him about marijuana, and growing up,
big deal in the high schools now, man.
Yep. And you hear it, we heard it all our life. That's a gateway drug. It really is. As I was little, I was like, what the hell is a gateway drug? But as an adult, it really is, because the whole understanding of what a gateway is once you break the threshold, everything else is wide open. You know what I'm saying? So you might tell yourself, "Oh, I smoked a little weed. I could probably take a E, no problem." And then you go down you keep going down those stairs, man, and coming up is a hell of a lot harder than going down.
You know what? I'm gonna try to actually twist it and make it a little light before we end this talk. But you know what, heck, man, with the addiction, with the drugs, and and of course there's levels to everything, right? But even with like let's talk about weed for a second, right? So I didn't smoke weed majority of my life. Like I haven't tried it at all. Like majority of my life, it wasn't until I hit 30 I tried it. But it was always something I was actually interested in, right? Because like we grew up, we seen it all around us in Bridgeport. You know what I mean? My older cousins, kids my age when we were kids. But I seen adults. Same thing with liquor too. I seen adults drinking, and stuff like that. And I never judged the substance so much. Like, you know what I mean? Not with those things, because I didn't see people doing nothing I felt was like out of control. You know what I mean? I've heard of people using it as excuses. They get drunk. Oh, I was drunk that night, or I was high that night. Like they start to do that. But I've also met people who drink, and they're like the calmest people in the world, the coolest people in the world. You know what I'm saying? I've met people that smoke, and they're the coolest people in the world. I had an uncle that was on crack, and he wasn't so cool. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like with crack, it only took me like being around one person who was on that something that strong for me to realize like, I don't think I ever want to try that. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't, like, for me, I get what you're saying. This is scary. It's scary. It is a gateway. It could be a gateway drug. But some of these drugs is more so about mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's something like mindset is a big deal. Like some people smoke, drink, and do other things, and it's solely to distract them, or it's solely to distract them from something that's bothering them, or like, you know what I mean, or to like decompress or stress. You know what I mean? So they're taking it on to cover up something bad. You get what I'm saying? And I think that kind of changes the whole paradigm, because some people start chasing a high. Like they're smoking. They're not smoking to elevate their mind. They're not smoking to relax. They're smoking to forget. So when you're smoking too much, when you start smoking excessively, and I've heard this before, you know what I'm saying, from smokers before I started smoking and during me smoking, is, I need at least 2 blunts to get high. Like 2 blunts, jeez. Like that shit it throw me back like 2. Like,
so would you say?
First of all,
oh yeah, sorry. Question. So would you say that the problem, or one of the problems, could be that a lot of people start smoking maybe too early in life, where
I personally think that's a big deal. I mean, we're immature, we're kids, bro. When I was in high school, I seen high schoolers do it, and mind you, I was a person that used to be able to like dabble in groups. I used to be able to go hang out with the cool kids, the nerds, like, and everything in between. But when things would go too far left for me, I would go my way. You know what I'm saying? So like, hanging out with the cool dudes, we talking, girls and whatever. Like they start talking about who's smoking me out after school and the stupid stuff they do when they high. I'm no longer part of that conversation. You know what I'm saying? I used to remove myself, like so. But I definitely feel like part of it is a maturity thing. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a maturity thing. Your
I've
mind's
always
not
thought
fully
about it.
developed when you're young neither. And you start smoking that shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just you have no knowledge on it. You don't even have no knowledge that it can be beneficial to you. You get what I'm saying? Or you can use it for sleep, or you can use it for. Some people don't even have that much knowledge, especially back then. All this sativa talk and indica and hybrids and giving you information now is like kind of new. You know what I mean? Off the street, it was just known as street name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've always looked at it as, you definitely on that maturity thing. You can't be a functioning adult if you relied on that in early age. You know what I'm saying? But if you manage to become a functioning adult first and then tried those things, there's a chance you have a little better grasp on reality. You know your limits. You know when too much is too much kind of shit. And then you also have something a little more to lose. As a kid, mom and dad's taking care of me. I could smoke. I'm good. As an adult, well, I mean, shit, if you started later in life, you realize, okay, there is a point in which I can't return,
Yeah.
And so I really feel like that does make a huge impact because it's a pandemic across America, man. How many kids are introduced to weed or pills in their teenage years? Probably 90%, probably more than that. Like every child in America is a little too close to that shit. And I know I was,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like
And
I've
so,
had the opportunity, but I never took it.
yep.
I've been offered to smoke before, and I'll just tell my friends, nah, I'm cool. And luckily, I had friends that didn't try to peer pressure me. Like if I told them one
Yep.
time, nah, I'm good. Just leave me alone. They don't press me about it.
Yep.
So, I guess I am fortunate in that sense. One, have the sense to decline, and two, have friends who didn't look at it as if I was judging them for doing it, or tried to pressure me into doing it with them.
Right. You didn't find yourself in that cycle, that vicious cycle of, acceptance. Oh, I need to be accepted by these people. They're my friends. I want them to accept me. I got to do what they do, because that whole when in Rome, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of kids, unfortunately, fall into that cliquey behavior. Oh, yeah, the smokers are going to smoke, bro. They invited us. Let's go do it. And then, oh, man, now they're trying to go drink, so let's go drink. And then, you start mixing shit, and you start running across bad equations when you start mixing shit like that, man. So,
When you're young, you adventurous too, bro. Everything's new to
yeah.
you. You know what I mean?
You said it, bro. You said it before, Frank. When you young, you got the energy for that bullshit, bro. And you better
Yeah.
believe it, man.
Yeah, you got the energy, like you said, you got the room. You probably still live with your parents. Like you don't know what it is to have overhead. Like to really think, like, I want to bag this. I want to bag this week, but rent is due.
Yep.
I guess I ain't getting a bag this
You ain't
week.
got nothing on the scale, bro.
Saying?
There's nothing there to balance you out. You got to have your yin and your yang. But if you don't have one or the other, man, you're going too far off in one direction, kind of shit. And that's a dangerous place to be, man.
Heck, you know what, heck, bro, we was fortunate enough to have an uncle who survived through his addiction. He's still here with us, man. And so a story I like to make light of now. When we were younger, my uncle came to live with us at one point, right? And bro, this will wrap it up for any kid, especially today, bro. But we went to school, right? Mind you, my uncle had a thing for stealing. We already knew that shit. But we went to school and we came home, and we came home excited, bro. We was ready to play the PlayStation. We had a PS1. That was a PS1, I remember, bro.
Yeah, it was the great one. It was like
it was a great one, man. When we came home from school, man, Hector, your kids are so sweet. We were sweet. Me and my brother was not stupid, bro. But we came home from school and we were like, what happened to our PlayStation? My uncle gonna go. Oh, the TV fell on it, so I threw it out. Like, sir, who told you to throw out my play? Even if the TV fell on it, Who told you to throw out my PlayStation? Do you really think me and my brother are fools? So, even when I was young, I already knew what really happened. I kind of let it go, but then I stopped fucking with my uncle, bro. I stopped fucking with him, bro. Like, he'd be walking by, and I would not say hi to him, Hector. It got so bad, Hector. I realized, it was just last year, I realized, like, yo, like, I haven't said hi to this man in years. I see him all the time, and I'll just keep driving, like, you know what I mean? Out of fear of him asking me for $1 or 50 cents or, or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Because usually it's always something, but, like, I don't know, getting older, I'm realizing, like, yo, that's no reason to stop talking to somebody. Like, I'm a grown ass man. I could simply tell him no and still ask him how you doing. How's everything else? You get what I'm saying? That's what I should be able to do. And then I also realized, like, how crazy it was of me to avoid him for so many years, yo. After I just lost an uncle. It wasn't until I lost my uncle, like Brian was talking about earlier, like, not till you lose it, till you start recognizing. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So things go far left. And it was until I lost my another uncle who was involved in my life, like, daily, weekly. Very, you know what I mean? And it made me realize, like, yo, this is not how you treat people, yo. Like, how am I supposed to be out here serving others and I can't even, like, be right with my family? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, but yo, I like to make light of that, that whole situation now, though, because, you know what? At the end of the day, my uncle's still here. It was a material thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I was mad at that man for a long time, bro. For a long time, man. Memories don't live like people do, bro.
Yo.
Memories, man, they affect you, man.
Yes, hell yeah, they do.
You know what's crazy? One of our aunts is kind of like a klepto, bro. She used to steal our shit and then put her kid's name on it. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? And but she used to also, that aunt used to also always buy it. She used to always make sure she got the stuff for Christmas, right? So, like, I kind of X all that klepto shit out of my mind. Like, you know what I mean? I forgot she did that shit. It wasn't until I was talking to a cousin and she was telling me about how that same aunt used to take her dolls and give it to her daughter, put her daughter name on it, and give it to her daughter. I was like, yo, I forgot Auntie used to steal my shit, right? So I thought that was crazy how memory worked, because my uncle, who I don't have many good memories with, I only have, like, that him stealing my PlayStation, bro. Bro, you gotta fill in some good memories now. You stole my PlayStation, bro. For me to forget this shit, bro. You got a lot of gifting to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I whole forgot about my aunt, like the way my aunt was, because my aunt always took us out. She had a klepto problem, but she brought for us too, so I ain't really understand it.
Yeah,
so, you know,
just balancing the scale.
That balance, bro, is necessary.
But yeah, with our uncle, you know what I mean, the scale was tipped crazy in one way.
That's it, man.
Still owe us a PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was a rap for him for years, man.
Yeah, I feel you on that. That's damn. And it's harder when it's family, man, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're taught you gotta love and accept your family, kind of shit. And it's not until you become an adult when you realize you have power to actually choose that or not.
Yo, that's a conversation right there, bro. Because that was definitely part of our culture. Like, that was definitely something they used to drill into our head. Like, yo, if your brother fight, you gotta go fight. But yo, mom,
you gotta jump in.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is the one that picked that fight? You see fighting when they got guns. Mine ain't got no guns.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he's in the wrong?
Right. Like, you know what I mean? For real, bro. Jeez. No, real shit.
Definitely something we had to deal with, bro.
Yeah, we could talk on that one more. That sounds like a fun one to add to the wheel, bro. Let it come up, because that's the thing, man. That's the thing where we grew up, for real.
Maybe some of these young people just need to know about what life was like when we were their age. You know what I mean? What was culture like? Because if they can get an understanding of us, then maybe they might be able to understand the elders just a little bit better.
They might be able to understand themselves a little better too.
They'll understand themselves a little better too, man. You know, I'm all about that.
That's the goal, bro. That's the goal.
Yeah, maybe we could do something like that. That'll be dope. You know, maybe pick something. But this is. Yeah, we can cover like 90s technology or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's in there. It's on one of the categories. The 90s kids versus kids today, you know what I'm saying? Well, shit, what about kids that grew up in the 90s versus kids that's growing up today? Like, we could reword it a little, or yeah, because there's some differences, man, that will humble us all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like it's my fault, man, but we definitely got carried away, bro. We 10 minutes over now, man.
we here.
You gonna lead us right into that next one or what, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So y'all know me, man. I'm always about full circle and kind of making shit matter, and kind of going with that statistic that I told you guys about black women being the
43%.
the majority holder of all our student loan debt, it being Black history. You know what I'm saying? So
It being Black history.
I went with something that this. So the inspiration, I'll give you guys the inspiration, and maybe you'll know. But long time ago, there was a movie called The Fifth Element, and in that movie there was a woman who she was an opera singer, and she was blue, and she kind of looked like an alien, but she kind of looked like a human, and that was like one of my favorite parts of that movie. So anybody out there that knows The Fifth Element, that part was different, man. That whole scene where she's doing her thing and then Lilu's doing her thing, and there's just like, it's empowering for these women to be doing what they were doing. And I like seeing women being empowered in dope ass roles. And so bringing it full circle with last week's conversation, and again, it being Black History Month, just kind of wanted to continue with the theme and just show some, just an abstract piece of art. It's a woman who's painted in all blue, with African origin. That was the intent here, with the wrap, kind of that futuristic vibe. So I just wanted to show just something cool, just something different. You know what I'm saying? I had Midjourney do something like kind of like a portrait style piece, but that also kind of felt like it's a glamorous magazine shot or something,
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
I just went with that, man. Yeah,
it's crazy what AI can do, man. That shit is wild, yo.
Yeah, and I've gotten really good at like prompting to have it do what I want it to do, which is cool, man. So I have this vision up here that I can have within a minute, and that to me is fulfilling, in a sense. It's cool, and then it's even cooler to be able to share it all. So this one's for y'all, man. This one's for everybody out there, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, heck, man? I'm going way back from earlier conversation, man. But I was thinking about these politics, man, and then everybody going out to vote and stuff like that, right? And like, who is the person? I mean, who's the person that's gonna go and really try to implement like change in politics? Because at this point, like, it's been going on so long, it's like you're the only human walking into a pulpit of snakes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta almost be ready to be the sacrificial lamb. Like, you almost gotta be ready to play a role and know at the end of it, like, yo, you're not gonna come out alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
To be a politician that can flip like what's going on his head, bro. You get what I'm saying? I personally think, man, it's time. We go ahead and close it out after this, bro. I personally think it's time for. I'm ready. I like trying something new, man. Like, where's the woman president at? I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready, bro. Let's try. Y'all want different? Let's go for it, man.
Yep. Let's do it all the way. Why not? Why put y'all? Fuck that 1 foot in the water shit, man. Get in, yo. Let's go for real.
all women running next election, man.
Yo, the whole cabinet. That'd be crazy.
Nothing wrong with all these dudes, all right? Nothing wrong with all these old dudes, man.
Bro, we need a new perspective.
Yeah, we do. we are in dire need of it for real. Yep.
Yeah.
Shit.
For real, man.
All right, so that was cool, man. That shit went quick, y'all. But I'm gonna get us up out of here, and yeah, we'll touch on the topic more. I'm pretty sure we'll get more feedback. I'm looking forward to it, man. I demand it, man. I demand it. All our viewers, everybody that watch it, say a little something, man, because this is cool. This shit is really cool, having that feedback and being able to dive deeper into those examples provided or those thoughts shared. So I just hope for more of that, man, going forward. And with that said, for all y'all that came through and let us borrow some time, we'll see you next week on Peace of Your Mind. Much love.